everybody, welcome back. I feel like maybe for some people it's easier just to log on to YouTube, get this information from someone who actually has experienced it. And since I have time on my hands, I'm happy to go ahead and go in a little more detail with some information. So, starting off, number one, qualification as far as education. Is it a requirement to have a college degree to work for U.S. Customs and Border Protection as an officer? That's a negative. You do not need a college degree in order to work as a CBPO. I do not know anything else in reference to Border Patrol or AMO, which is Air and Marine Operations. I'm not sure their qualifications. I'm only speaking of a CBPO, which is an officer. So, a college degree is not necessary. If you do have a college degree, that could very well help you in your pay. Now, the last time I checked, and this has changed, of course, over the years, but with the pay, in order for your college education to help you start at a GS9, if I'm not mistaken, you have to have some type of degree in criminal justice, some type of background such as that, in order for you to be able to be eligible for a GS9. So, GS is the pay for this agency. There are other scales like a GL pay scale that I know of. I can't think of any more off the top of my head. Now, CBP starts at a GS5. It's always 5 and the first step is 1. However, even though they start at a certain step, that doesn't mean you can't necessarily negotiate your pay when it's time for you to come on and accept the job. I've seen previous videos prior to me actually starting that someone stated that they were able to negotiate their pay based off of what they earned previously at another job in a different, even though it was in a different type of position. I'm not sure how that works, so I can't give you information on that, but all they can do is say no, right? So you can always shoot your shot when it comes to that. Now, these increases are typically averaging around $10,000 each year. So I don't know too many jobs that you go and work and you're getting a raise every year at about $10,000. That's huge. So GS5, step 1. Then the next year, GS7, step 1. Then the next year, GS9, step 1. The next year, GS11, step 1. Then the next year, GS12, step 1. Now, this is where things start to change. For CBPO, GS12 is the highest that we go as just an officer. Now, once you start getting into a supervisor role, that's when you can start hitting the GS13s, 14s, and 15s, and so on. But as just a CBPO, it stops right at GS12. Now, once you hit the GS12, though, you're going based off of steps. The raise does not continue every year like it did previously. I believe it's every 2 steps. So basically every 2 years, maybe 3, that you'll start getting your raise. I can't tell you if it's the same amount. If you've been here before and you've seen videos, I don't know if I stated where I started. I started as a GS5. I messed up on my information, and I think I've said this because I answered a question incorrectly, and that really affected what I started as far as my pay. And I have 2 degrees. So I did take a major pay cut to get the job. However, now I'm at a GS11. I hit my 3-year anniversary last year in October. This year I'll be at a GS12. Now, the good thing about this is also that you're with the federal government. If you don't know, last year we actually received a raise. I can't remember the increase. It was maybe about 3% or 4%. We're due for another raise this year, again, just based off of the actual government itself. So that's nice because, say for instance, GS5 base pay is 35,000. Well, if we receive the raise, then that next year some new person comes in as a GS5, their base pay is no longer going to be 35. They may be at 37 or whatever the case is based off of how much that pay raise is. So that's the beauty of it. Another good part about being in the federal government outside of these raises and how quickly, as long as you're not getting into any trouble, like you do start off on a 1 year probation, but as long as you don't have any trouble or anything going on, you're doing your job, you're fulfilling your duties, you should be getting your raise basically. The other thing that I haven't like, it's not a big thing, and then I'm also speaking from, like, my dad has a background. My dad was in the military. He was in the Marines, and he also retired from the post office. So my urge to work for the federal government started because of my father, because that's something that he started talking about, the benefits that you have working for the federal government while you're in, the benefits that you have once you're retired. He's retired already. He's been retired for about 3 years now. And when I tell you, this man speaks nothing but high praises about the federal government. He just had a great experience. Not to say everybody's experience will be like that, because come on, we have to be realistic. We're human beings. You encounter different people have different personalities. You just never know. However, the benefit is, in the private sector, you hear about people getting laid off from positions. I haven't really heard of anyone as far as within CBP ever being laid off. Now, we've had hiring freezes. So that means if you're in the process, then it could take longer, which that happened to me. There was a hiring freeze while I was going through my process back when I started in 2018. Things could change unless, like, if you do something that's just horrible and you end up getting fired, I can't, I mean, nobody can help you with that. But outside of that, it's like what my dad, what my dad always says: federal government is like having job security. So I look at that though, really, as CBP having that type of security. It is a great position, agency, to be able to feel like you have a sense of security, especially because of what happened and why CBP was established. So there is some history with it. But yes, things definitely changed because of 9/11. The main thing, once you apply, when you're applying, complete everything to its entirety. You don't want to miss anything. Go over those questions. Do not, like, if something seems confusing while you're trying to answer a question, I would love if you would just come on here and ask me the question. I would rather you do that versus messing up like I did and answering the question completely wrong. I'm always open, like, to answer questions, as long as, like I always say, as long as I can answer them, it's something that I can give you the information that you don't necessarily have to go through the process yourself to find out. It's not a requirement that I keep that information to myself. I'll reveal it to you. So, um, fill out everything completely, and while you're going through the initial information, turn in everything that's supposed to be submitted on time. And the main thing is, you might hear this from somebody: hurry up and wait. Getting a government job, if you are first, like, this is your first government job, it's not necessarily going to be an easy process getting in. It's not necessarily quick. But the thing is, once you get in, you're in. And then you have so many more options. How, like, say for instance, if you want to move around or whatever the case may be. But if this is something that you want to do, especially if you're starting young, like, that's perfect. This is the information that I'm providing today. Subscribe if you haven't. Drop any questions below. Check out my IG, TELL Nikki NIKKI. I have revamped my page previously. If you've seen it, it was all about workout videos because that's all that I did. to get myself ready for the academy, and then what I did at the academy. However, since I have physically changed and I'm unable to actually work out at all, um, I have to revamp. And so if you see my page, it's all motivational quotes. But feel free still to, you can follow me on there. You can ask me questions. I still have people that ask questions. And then, like I stated, if I'm able to actually reveal the information to you, I will. If it's something I don't know the answer to, trust me, I have a lot of people that I know that's in CBP, so I can get some answers for you. I have people that are in different places. So don't ever hesitate to ask a question. Go ahead and ask. I'd rather you be able to be open to get some answers from me, knowing that I know some of the information. I won't steer you wrong. I'm all about growth for people, and I'm all about people and helping others. So I'm just trying to help you get this job. If this is what you want to do, as long as you do right, I'll give you the information that I can, and then you just go ahead, take that information, and do your part. But the videos won't be too long because I get short of breath. So this is the end of this video. I'll drop another video later on, and then I'll keep up with information so we can just actually have a little more detail to people, in comparison to what I have already disclosed. All right, catch you later.